What's good, people? It's your boy Ade Sanusi, aka Sanusi the First. Welcome to Art Meets Culture podcast, episode 9. Hope you guys are doing extremely well. It's a beautiful day outside. I know we're in isolation. I know they said it's another 3 weeks. Some say a few months, but we're all hanging in there. Staying safe, staying creative, staying ambitious, which is the key thing. Hopefully, all your loved ones are safe and chill, and all prayers to them if they've fallen ill. I wish them a speedy recovery. And if you've lost any loved ones, just stay hopeful in the game. Hopefully you'll be driving their legacy forward as well as yours. But it's a beautiful day today. I think somewhat I'm gonna enjoy it from my window, looking at the sun. Try and get those vitamin D minerals. Oh crap, my filter drops. Those vitamin D minerals. This is gonna be an exciting episode. I'm joined by Luke De Stefano. I tried to say that as Italian as possible, so forgive me, Luke. He DM'd me the other day, telling me about his his journey as an art agent, and he would like to, talk about it. And I say, I've definitely been looking for, some more agents to talk to. I have a few conversations with a few who are big in the game. I always seek their advice and seek their counsel in terms of what they're doing, who they're selling to, how does the market work. And, they've advised me very well in terms of the next steps. So it was great that, that Luke, got in touch, because that was literally going to be the next set of interviews that were coming forward. I've got one coming with one of my good friends. He's an amazing art dealer, and when it lands, you guys will know. And he's passionate, and he will drop gems to the sky, from the sky rather, not to the sky, but as high as you want to go. Luke's an incredible guy. His uncle, did stuff with Basquiat, Andy Warhol. These two phenomenal artists in the game that we all know, that everybody publicly knows and everything like that. Luke is working with artists called Will McNally. He owns pieces, Basquiat pieces. He owns a few Banksy pieces as well. So he's very good in the game. He's got a great portfolio, and he's encouraging people to, invest and, create their own portfolio as well. Because, I feel as though, art is as good as, the property game, the sneaker culture, and how people are getting involved with buying sneakers like real estate. So we definitely got art. If you hear any screaming in the back, I live on one of the main roads, and it's always people just talking loud. So forgive me if you hear anything, but we got some beautiful music underneath this. I doubt you heard that. So it was only me. So let me excuse my distractions. The art game is like the real estate game to me. Do you know what I mean? I try to, invest in, some independent artists as much as possible, because, for me, it's an investment. To me, it's, stuff that I like and stuff that I mess with. Do you know what I mean? So I like to have a, small collection, which I'll start, I've got a small collection. It's not vast, but once this shit's over, I'm gonna start investing in my people a little bit more, and buying their pieces, possibly getting some custom pieces and some one of ones, which I really want. He's an entrepreneur who is very hungry, young guy, very hungry, educated, well accomplished, and it's just the start of something. He's paid attention to the Instagram game, and he's probably paid attention to you right now if you're an artist listening to this. So I advise everybody who's doing art, step your game up, step your art game up, step your collections up, step your stories up, because you got a lot of people who are actually watching. You never know who's watching, but you got a lot of people who are watching who's paying attention to art very well. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't even know, quite a few of these agents now follow the page. They follow Art Meets Culture. So I do everything that I can to to repost you guys on the stories. If you make Artists of the Day bonus, But they're watching, so I try to get these eyes on your work as much as possible. Do you know what I mean? Because in this day in life, you always, every single day, you got to execute the best way possible in terms of your work. That don't mean like you got to post every day or anything like that, but make sure the quality of work is at a high standard, because it's up to you to take yourself to the next level, depending on whatever your goals are. Because our agents are watching, and I feel like with Matrixy agents are coming. If you've watched The Matrix, JJ, if you're listening, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, you never know who's watching. That's why you always got to put your best foot forward every single time. A lot of agents I'm not looking for anybody who's on the gimmick side of things. No gimmicks, no cliches, but just quality artwork that actually means something and has a story behind that. Do you know what I mean? And everybody starts from somewhere. Do you know what I mean? From, starting from drawing your favorite music artists, to obtaining their attention. But then also you have to evolve from that. Do you know what I mean? You have to evolve from the music faces and stuff like that, and then take it to a realm where, let me know what your mind work looks like. Let me know how you're fusing culture together, whether it be pop culture or everything. Andy Warhol did a lot of stuff with, pop art and fusing celebrities with art and stuff like that, but having a story and a thing about him. Do you know what I mean? You or every single artist that's listening and who I even talk to on a day-to-day have all got the massive capabilities of achieving this. Like I just see, in the ones I talk to, I just see a lot of fire in your eyes. Me looking at the eyes of the art, I don't even see eyes on a day-to-day because I don't even see it. But even reading your passionate stories, even worked on a show with you. All these things are levels that I'm seeing. Do you know what I mean? So you guys are hungry for it, and it's like I'm very happy that a lot of artists. Is that a fire alarm? Bloody hell. Anyway, yeah, a lot of you guys are in that realm of stepping up to that next level because you want it. And I like the fact that you guys don't want it on a clout thing. You just want it on a legacy thing, a purpose thing, because only purpose should drive everything that you're about. Do you know what I mean? It's always purpose over popularity. We're not trying to play that popularity game, and you also shouldn't. So execute your art well. You're in the biggest you're in the most biggest community possible, which is Instagram, which is insane that you can put your art out there and many people can see it, and you're attainable to many human beings. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to ramble on. This is another episode every single day. Well, from Monday to Friday this week we are dropping an episode, possibly on a Saturday, you never know. I'm just working hard as ever, hard as I can, with the Mamba mentality intact, So without further ado, I always do without further ado before I do my make sure you follow type thing. So let me start that again. So be sure to follow us on Instagram, Art Meets Culture. The vibes, the content we produce, the work we execute. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, YouTube as well. Once this thing's over, we've got some amazing things in the pipeline. I've already spoken to a few artists about doing some dope stuff, so we're going to execute something. I'm smiling right now because it's just going to be levels, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's going to be something we're excited for. As for events, boy, I've got something in the pipeline as well for that. So we're still working very quietly. We understand that there might not be no mass gatherings in terms of events no more. So shot a lot of events in the foot right now, but we've figured out a way where we can adapt, as always, because you got to adapt in this situation. But yeah, once you follow the YouTube, check out some old content as well from past shows via about Art Meets Music, the shows before we evolved into Art Meets Culture. Yeah, so you can follow me on Sunusi the First on Instagram as well. See the vibes, see what I'm about day to day. But yeah, that's that, man. I mean, I'm gonna enjoy my day now, and thank you again, for taking your time to even listen to the podcast. I mean, it's like sometimes I look at it day to day and just see people who are just viewing. I don't even care if it's like 2 people or whatever, but I'm seeing 18 a day, or 15 people on another. It's just like, it's amazing to me, and for the fact that you're taking time to do this, I appreciate you highly. And I'm going to remain thankful on that, daily, and I do remain thankful, rather or not I do remain thankful on that, and I appreciate you all. But yeah, please, right now, before anything, could you go and share it to at least one person and just say, yo, check this out. I'm even just share the image that we've reposted right now. Just be like, use the arrow, the paper plane arrow, paper plane, and share it to 10 people. Just doesn't say nothing, just say, check this out. Art podcast. If you're into art investing, that's one. If people want to invest in art, that's a good one. Yeah. Got ya. That's a good one. Anybody who's interested into investing in art, this is the podcast to listen to. This is the vibe. I appreciate you all. Art meets culture, the vibe. Put your money where your art is. Someone asked me why I say put your money where your art is, because that's our slogan. I just put your money where your art is. Just invest in self. Self-belief, that 100% belief in yourself. When nobody's trying to invest in you, you got to invest in yourself. So you put your money where your art is, where your craft is, because you invest in you and you know what you're going to get out of it. You're probably the only stock, because I don't compare ourselves to stock, but you can invest in the stock and you know how it's going to grow based on the work you put in. So put the work in yourself, put your money where your art is, and yes, you will see much from that very soon, very, very soon. So that's the vibe. Put your money where your art is. Let's go. All good. How you doing, man?
Not bad. Keeping busy, luckily.
Yeah.
Just cracking on, mate. How about you?
Not bad. I mean, I'm basically just I've used this whole entire time to kind of focus what are the next stages for the brand and the platform. Because before we were predominantly doing events and everything like that. Now it's just like, okay, cool. We've got to change up a little bit now, do you know what I mean? And be a little bit different and adapt to times. But, that's just me like studying businesses that when a crisis hits, what do they do? Do you know what I mean? Some people go under, or just some people just, change and, turn left into something else.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, similar to ourselves, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do property on the side as well.
Amazing.
Got an investment management company, but at the moment we've put more focus on our insurance company because people want income policy protection, life insurance against pandemic, stuff like that. So
yeah,
property sort of fallen off a bit. The insurance has picked up. So
yeah, it's a good balance. At least
it's a good balance. Lucky position to be in, thankfully. But it's all right. It's just a weird.
Yeah. So yeah, now thank you for coming on a podcast. It means a lot, and thank you even for listening and getting in contact about it. So yeah, like, can you tell the listeners like where you're from, your background, and everything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Luke De Stefano. I am 23 years old. Grown up in Essex all my life. Went to school in East London, and I've been involved in art now for probably 5 to 6 years.
Amazing.
Initially, art was sort of a side thing for me. I grew up with an uncle who was and still is an art dealer, has been trading art for 3-4 decades or so.
Amazing. So he's been through, he's seen everything, like the centuries and stuff.
He's seen absolutely everything. He's been there from when the likes of Basquiat was still alive. Amazing. And Warhol, and he's seen individuals like them who sadly aren't with us anymore, but buying pieces of them when they were still alive and had just passed away, and has seen, I mean, exponential growth on their work and their brands and their entire what would you call it? Well, just them as people and artists and throughout the whole world. And yeah, I mean, I sort of saw that growing up. He had the Banksy's hanging up on the wall, the Warhol, the Damien Hirst, and I admired it a lot. I loved it a lot. And then once I started to understand the financial side of it, I mean, I was hooked. I was in then, from a fairly young age.
It's an amazing industry to get into, because it's like I've studied the guys you've mentioned, seen their work, and I always wonder, like, who are the art dealers behind it and everything. So it's good to know that your pops was a part of that whole entire situation. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, one thing that people sort of looking from the outside into the art market in the art world is it's controlled by the art dealers, and the art dealers are, let's say, 40, 50 years old.
Yeah,
very, very long time, Eton educated, houses in Chelsea and Switzerland and whatnot, which is true to an extent. I mean, these guys do have sort of a big hold on the game, but I sort of saw a gap in the market, let's say, where there needed to be this sort of youthful turn on it, and I kind of placed myself in there where I had a good good network, was very well connected in the art world from a young age, and it allowed me to get into these places where these art dealers who were in the game for a long time had been for a long time, and I was just coming in literally at 21 years old, and people would think, what's this guy doing? But where it was just new, everyone was surprised. People liked it, so they hadn't seen it before. They weren't used to it. They weren't used to someone being so young, being around them, and in these auction houses and at these events. And it started to become, they started to realize that maybe the art game was moving that way, and it was taking a change for the better. So that's what we've seen now. We've sort of seen more and more younger people coming on the scene, like yourself as well, with platforms like yourself, and it's taking over, and it's sort of going a good way for the better, for sure.
Yeah, nice. I think it's an amazing thing, and I think it's important for us to take that brave steps, because when people think about art, all of a sudden you start thinking of the old heads, all the old guys who've been in it for a long time, and when you see them on TV, it's always like the old heads with with a lot of money. But now what you're seeing is a lot of young artists. That's helped from like the likes of Instagram, social media. So you're seeing the lifestyle element. So we're implementing stuff that we like and connected to the art. So it's literally a whole amazing thing. So what are your challenges, being a young art dealer in this game? Like what challenges have you had, like, doing this?
Of course, I mean, there's been a load of adversity with the being young side of things, but I take it as I come. I mean, look, I'm not turning up these places in let's say trap star tracksuits with Dior's on and stuff. However, I'm presenting myself in a way where, look, I'm wearing a double-breasted suit. I'm looking very smart, and the way, the passion, I'd say, behind it, the way I speak about these things, the way I'm able to have some nice pieces in my collection, some of the Banksys and whatever else. It allows me to sort of put myself on a level with them, which they respect, and they see that I'm trying. They see that I'm trying to make a name for myself, a name for my brand, and a name for my artists as well. And I think the only thing sort of that I haven't cracked yet is just, I mean, they're sitting on fortunes upon fortunes, and collections in the hundreds and thousands of pieces worth multi millions, and that's where I see myself getting to at a stage in say the next decade or so. And that's the only sort of thing I see holding me back. But I mean, look, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Exactly.
So as time goes on, names getting out there, more exposure, artists are doing more and more and more collaborations are getting signed and stuff, and that's only going to get me to that level. But I mean, look, I'm enjoying it as it's growing, so that's the main thing really for me.
No, I'm definitely happy that you're enjoying the process, because a lot of people would think, let's get into the art game and get rich quick. They don't realize this is such a long-term game that you might not see anything up until 10 years time. Do you know what I mean? And like Basquiat himself, it's like, he was painting so many pieces, wasn't making any money. and it just over time, someone saw his collections, and then that's how it built to what it was, at this moment in time. So like, who do you look after, or what pieces do you have in collections currently right now?
So there's two sides to my company, really, De Stefano Holdings. So I deal with your investment grade art, considered investment grade art, your blue chip artists, so your Banksys. We do have a Basquiat piece. We do an original.
I need to see that.
Mate, it's bad. It's mental. We do have your Warhols, your Damien Hirst, and additions like that. Another artist as well I've got access to through someone I consider a mentor of mine, has been for a good few years now, an artist named Richard Hamilton, which he passed away a couple of years ago. He grew up around Warhol, Keith Haring and Basquiat was part of their sort of group.
Yeah.
He is considered blue chip now. He's very current at the moment. And then on the other side of things, emerging artists, one of my main emerging artists is a gentleman named Will McNally, who I know you
amazing. Yeah.
You've seen pieces of his before. I mean, I've got a piece behind me right now.
Yes.
Pieces in the office, and he as well as being a very, very good friend of mine and a very long-term friend, and like one of the first people I would go to for any advice whatsoever. He's an amazing artist. He's an incredible artist, and over the past couple of years, we've been on a journey together, and we've been putting in a load of graft on the side. And really, I'd probably say a degree as well, we've only seen it start paying off in the past 2-3 months.
Yeah.
So everything that's gone on in the background has taken a while. It's taken a lot of work and commitment and sacrifice, but only now has started to start paying off. And unfortunately, in the position we're in at the moment with the COVID-19, it's caused a bit of a slowdown. However, I mean, we need to adapt to it, really. As you said earlier on, it's about adapting to how companies thrive in downturns and in slumps. So we've recently signed to galleries over in New York. We've only just yesterday or the day before signed with a new gallery in London and Shanghai by the name of Grove Square Galleries. And the guy who's looking after them has admired Will's pieces for, a good few years now, has been buying pieces privately. And thankfully now we're in a position where we've pushed through with that. That's all going well. And a few other guys, I mean, I've worked with Tom Fitch in the past, incredible artist, who's doing amazing things. Guy called Symbol, who is, again, a good friend of mine, is very, very well connected in the art game, also in the music game. And with all of these guys, I mean, we're just continuing reproducing work, getting new pieces out there, making new connections, and trying to get the name out there. Have a nice collector base, buying these pieces up. And really, once all of this is over, we've got a load of events lined up, which will only be positive for all of them, and their hard work will start paying off
exactly
a lot more, which is
no, that's massive. That's literally like so inspiring to even hear. So like you mentioned some dope artists, and you're looking after a dope artist in Will. What do you look for in an artist in terms of their work? Because it's like, I'm sure you're on Instagram like me, just scrolling through, seeing what pieces there are, looking at techniques and everything like that. Like, what do you look for that you say, okay, cool, this person has potential and this can work in this realm, and I know who will buy that based on my clientele?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say at the moment I'm working with your more contemporary modern artists. Reason being is I can relate to it more. Yeah. I'm 23. I'm a lot younger than, as I said, the other dealers out there, and I like these things because I know that they would sit well with my network, my circle, and I know they're very marketable. So at the moment, Will, for example, is doing a lot of these neon pieces.
Yeah,
neon
so
pieces
sick.
They're incredible. They're amazing. They're huge. They're to look at. I mean, they're unreal. They're absolutely amazing.
He's amazing. He's literally sick. Love what he does.
Yeah, and some of the pieces he's got released in literally in the next week, he's been grafting on since we've been in this lockdown. Literally, I'm like speechless. They're amazing. They are amazing, and just stuff like that. They're very marketable, as well as the other guys. I mean, a lot of stuff coming in at the moment is this designer culture.
Yeah.
Your brands, your collaboration brands and stuff like that. And you've seen the likes of Supreme absolutely kill it by doing stuff like that. I mean, only last week, a collaboration with Lamborghini.
Yep.
And they started out as sort of a niche skater brand and whatnot, got into the art game, and the collaborations they've done ever since have proven extremely popular.
Yeah.
And this designer culture is very popular with your younger audience. And at the moment, a lot of the people buying are the sort of the younger generation, the 20s to the mid 30s, 40s over in Asia.
Yeah.
They
love that. Love it.
And that's why we've seen the likes of Cause come up so much. He's become one of the most important artists of the past few years.
Yeah. And
that's because of him incorporating commissions with, I mean, the likes of Pharrell Williams, for example. But
then the MTV, he's done the MTV Awards and as well. So it's like he's in with pop culture.
Yeah. So he's bringing in this sort of designer culture, incorporating it with a sort of artistic spin, cartoon as well, and stuff like that. And I mean, it looks incredible. You hang it up anywhere in a museum. It looks amazing. In a modern house, it looks amazing. In a stately home, it looks amazing. But on the other hand as well, I mean, I appreciate your more traditional pieces, your more old-fashioned, I'd say sort of Renaissance pieces, because I mean, I'm half Italian, so I've got my roots are Italian, North Italy, and sort of that culture is they love the Renaissance art, stuff like that, and I can admire that as well. I can happily spend a day in the National Gallery looking at stuff like that. And I've got an artist at the moment who does pieces like that. And don't get me wrong, that the effort and the talent behind it is incredible. But the market for it is a lot smaller than the likes of your neon pieces and your cartoon and your design stuff. So it's all, the trend at the moment is just that.
Yeah.
People are lapping it up and loving it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely seeing that the new age is focused on those definite like pop pieces. You know, I mean, you even look at artists like Alec Monopoly, like he's doing his art, but he brings a mad lifestyle to it where you're like, yeah, we want to be a part of that some way, you know, buying the art and everything like that. So that's definitely cool. Like investment wise, it's like a lot. I always now, well, I've been telling people like, you need to start investing in artists like the new real estate. You know what I mean? Get in early. These are new artists that you're seeing every single day. Like we didn't have Instagram to see like your Basquiats and everything like that. Now we get to see artists who are much closer to us. Do you, well, if they have the funds, do you encourage people to start investing in art at an early point? Do you know what I mean? Some of your friends and everything like that. Like, how do you encourage that for them?
That's a great question. I mean, look, I've always loved art because of that side as well. So art, I love to admire, appreciate it a lot, but I was always interested in the fact that it's an investment vehicle as well. So you look over the past 20 to 30 years, the art market as a whole has pretty much consistently risen by, let's say on average, 7 to 8%.
Yeah.
You look at the stock market, it's probably beaten the stock market year on year over that time period. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stocks and shares you can buy and make multiple percentage gains on a daily basis. However, you obviously need a crystal ball to know what's going on there. But with regards to the art market, it's something that will always have a value. You're buying a tangible asset, so you're always going to have an intrinsic value there. So the way I sort of got into it in the start was I knew what type of artists were popular, were current, were sort of coming up, having exhibitions and stuff like that. And I was always getting involved in pieces I liked, only pieces I liked, because at the end of the day, look, if you buy a piece of art and you put all of your money into it, all your eggs in one basket, and you're hoping and praying that in 5 years you can sell that
yeah,
and make 3 times the amount of money you paid for it, then I mean, you're going to drive yourself mad. You're going to wake up every day and oh, how much is it worth today? But at the end of the day, if you're buying it because you like it and it doesn't make any money, I mean, look, you're going to be a lot happier than you would be if it didn't make any money. So I've always encouraged the people around me, family members and close friends, to pretty much get involved in art if they can. Allocate a percentage of their portfolio if they're into investing into art, because look, it's uncorrelated to your stock markets and your property markets. Right now, we have not a pause on the property market because buying and selling is still able to go through. It's just a lot more difficult. But what we will probably see off the back of this lockdown is property prices drop, maybe 20, 30%. No one knows, but they will probably drop because at the moment, a lot of people are going to maybe want to be selling out. There's going to be a big flood on the market of properties. And in turn, it's only going to push the price down of an average property. We've seen the stock market tank the past couple months. I mean, at some point, we've seen America wipe out the past 12 odd years of jobs created in a matter of 2 weeks. 22 million people now unemployed over there, or similar figure. And it's incredible how art has nothing to do with this. The impact on art doesn't get affected by things like this, because at the end of the day, art is only going to be worth what someone's willing to pay for it. However, if you're getting in with a blue chip emerging artist, you always know you're going to have the intrinsic value there. So I'll use Banksy as an example because he's very current. He's British and everybody knows the name because, I mean, only as recent as this week, he's released another piece of work, his work from home piece. And I know full well that the Banksy market is very buoyant at the moment. You could probably make about 10 to 15% on average on a yearly basis with them. And last week I saw so many trades of Banksy pieces that I was in the middle of people asking for a certain piece. I was able to source it from a gallery, a friend of mine, a collector of mine, and trade them actively. And the reason they're doing that is because some of them just want to put their wealth and store it for a bit whilst all of this goes on. That piece, they know full well that they're gonna have it's gonna have the sort of same amount of worth as they purchase it when they go to sell it in, let's say, 6 months' time, a year's time, 2 years' time. So it's always going to be able to preserve their wealth and keep in line with inflation for definite. And that's sort of the way I got hooked. I just love the way that people put it in their portfolios alongside their stock portfolio, alongside their property portfolio. And it kept up with it majority of the time. And a lot of people are now looking towards it. The piece we sold this week of Will's, the gentleman who bought it and said, look, I'm probably going to hold on to this for a few years because I feel that with everything I've seen going on around us, if I get this piece, I know Will's an emerging artist. I know he's got a lot going on and coming up. And I know that I like this piece, for example, but I know full well I'd probably be able to make a bit of money out of it if and when I come to sell it. So I mean, people are listening. People are getting more interested in art at the lower end, chucking a couple £100 in or so, and at the top end as well. And it's always something that's going to have, as I said, an intrinsic value and an uncorrelation to what's going on at present.
I mean, for me, it's like crazy to hear that people are still spending money to buy art at this time, because usually you think people are going to hold their money. But people, I think when you have that mindset, okay, cool, everything's at this value right now, I'm going to put my money here, and then I know once this is over, everything's going to increase. How do you think this current how do you think this current situation is like affecting art, like positive and negative?
Positively, I'd say more and more people are finding their vocation, their purpose in life. There's going to be a lot of new artists come out of this period. It's only good for everyone, because there's going to be more talent on the scene. There's going to be more pieces of work we've never seen before, more ideas. People are gonna, where they're sitting at home now and maybe on furlough or unfortunately out of work, they may pick up a pen or a paintbrush and think back to when they used to do art 10 years ago or whatever it may be. And from there, completely absolutely smash it, and realize that art is their thing. So we're going to see a lot more work. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be so many more artists come out of this period, which, I mean, I can't wait for. Once we can all go to galleries again and exhibitions, I can't wait to see some of the work being produced. The negative side of things is, I mean, look, it might take a bit of a slowdown. It might be a while before we can get all together again in these galleries and at these exhibitions and shows, which is what these artists rely on a lot of the time to sell pieces. The auctions, they rely a lot on, of course, people being there, seeing the art and bidding for it there and then. I mean, they're adapting to it. We're doing online auctions, stuff like that, which is great for the artists and, of course, great for the auction houses. But I'd probably say there's going to be more positives out of negatives out of this, just because it's going to bring so much more talent, and people are going to find their purpose, what they've been put on the earth to do. And yeah, I'm buzzing to see what comes out of it, because there will be, as you said, a lot more Instagrams going up of people who've discovered their talent and what they're passionate about. So I'm keeping my eyes out to what's about. So yeah, sort of looking to see if there's more artists to sign up and represent, which would be great for for myself to add to my portfolio of clients, but also for them to work alongside a reputable brand with a good end goal and a good passion behind everything.
No, that's good. And where do you source artists? You source them mainly like on Instagram and everything like that?
I'm not going to lie to you. I've had a lot of good luck from Instagram. I mean, if we look back 10 years, 15 years, you would never have been able to do anything, because obviously Instagram didn't exist and you would have to go out to these shows and stuff. But where times are changing, I approach artists on Instagram. Every single day I will message at least one artist and say, look, I like your work. I'd love a conversation. Let's see what we can do, what type of synergy there is. So yeah, I'd say Instagram, to be fair, has been the best way for me. I've also picked up a few artists at art fairs, stuff like that, which again are great. They've made a name for themselves already. They smash out social media, but these art shows, you do find a lot of hidden talent where they just they've only ever done sort of exhibitions. They've never been on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. So both sides of the coin. I'd say for me, Instagram is just so much more popular because it's so easy to just follow a page, drop a message and get a response, which is a great way to go about it, especially in these times. I don't have to go and meet somebody, sign contracts that way. Everything can be done over the phone, over the laptop, and so on. But mainly through social media, which
that's big. Like social media that's even how I started. Is just I just followed a load of artists and be like, I like you, and let's do a show together and let's build something together. So I think it's definitely amazing. So if I'm not an artist, but if I was an artist and I was like, and I'm doing all these amazing paintings, but I'm looking for an agent, what would you look for if I approached you, I approached your company and say, look, I need help. I want to sell my pieces to your clientele. What do I need to show you? What are you looking for?
Above all, I'd say an open mind. An open mind. The reason being is that I could chuck 1,000,001 ideas at you. Because at the end, I'm trying to advise my artists what I feel is going to be the best for them. So yeah, there's financial gains out of it. It's great on that side of things, but I never got into it to make money. I only got into it to help others and to make people a lot more popular and a lot more bigger than they are. So I always say, if people come to me and they say, Luke, I want to make £20,000 a month selling my art, I'd say, look, you're not the artist for me. I want to know that you got into art because you're passionate about it, you love it. You can stand in a room in front of 200 people and you can tell them your story from start to where you are now. And it's just pure passion.
Yeah.
And if they can do that, and I can see that they're hard working, they want to just crack on and graft, and they're willing to say no, and they're willing to chuck ideas back at me and stuff like that, then I mean that's what I'm there for. All of my artists, I'd say, came to me open-minded, creative in both their ideas and their paintings, but also in where they saw themselves and ways they wanted to market themselves and get in the market. And I'd probably say the relationships with all of my artists have just been great and have thrived and flourished from the offset and throughout, just because of that. And I mean, if you are in it for the money, then it's never going to work for you.
Yeah, exactly.
In any industry.
Yes, a lot of people are money chasing in their work, and I've met and seen a lot of artists, and you can tell by how they push their work if it's like more money driven than purpose driven. And I think a lot of them have probably hit the wall now, thinking, okay, what do I really need to do to have that impact? With artists, this is a question I just thought of now. Do you think it's more about the style of art or the marketing that drives people to the artist?
I mean, one without the other will never work. So the way, I mean, so the art, for example, I deal with, it's all very popular. For example, I had a show last year with Will, the back end of last year, and I mean, Will's pieces are they're very modern, they're very creative and niche. Majority of them are all portraits of famous individuals.
Yeah.
So at this exhibition, we had the likes of myself and my friends there, so the younger 20s. I also had my grandparents there, who are in their 70s.
Yeah.
And it appealed to them as much as it appealed to me and my friends. And I feel that's itself, I mean, that helps majority of the time. That's probably 90% of it, that the work brings people of all appeals and people to the table. And then, I mean, the marketing side of things is myself and my circle, we're just very well connected. We've got relationships with majority of the galleries in London, Shanghai, Switzerland, New York, and in the Middle East. So when we want to do a release or want to market a particular artist or a particular event, it's as plain and simple as we let them know, and there's already an interest in it, because as you said earlier, the amount of people's mindsets now changing to looking at the art market as a market to store value and preserve wealth, and it's always going to have an interest. I'd probably say 9 out of 10 people I speak to, if I go out on the street and I invited them to an art exhibition, they would love it, because everybody loves art.
Yeah,
I'd say everybody loves art, and if you don't love art, I mean, you're still able to criticize art, which means you at least appreciate it. And some people will say to me, I don't like that piece. And others will say, I love that piece. And the only difference is their perception of the piece and how they look at it. But at the end of the day, if you've got an opinion on art, then I'd say you appreciate it at least. Everyone appreciates it at least. Whether they love it or hate it, it's up to them. But if you can stand there and say something about a piece, then that artist has done their job to the best of their ability, because that's come from them onto that canvas or onto that piece of paper, whatever it may be.
No, that definitely makes sense. Both has to go hand in hand, because it's like I'm always interested in like the marketing aspect and how they're presenting it, which one that sells me, and then the story behind the art piece as well. So definitely that's something I'm into. Why did that question just fly out of my head? I was literally saying I'm asking this question. This is the question I want to know.
Way.
Yeah. But I did have another question. Artists who, they always find it hard to value their work because they don't know how. Okay, yeah, that's the question. So it works hand in hand with this one. So on one hand, you have people saying, I'm going to sell my art piece for $2,000. And then someone says, that's not worth $2,000. That my 2-year-old can draw that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you had anybody say those sort of things or approach it in a way where it's just like, no, we're not paying for that because
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. It's difficult because what is the value of art? I mean, if you look at it and you break it down, the value really is what you paid for the canvas, what you paid for the materials and the paint.
Yeah.
And majority of the time, for example, you've got a 100 by 100 piece canvas. You've paid, I don't know, 40, 50 pounds for that. Your art and what's gone into it. I mean, materials wise, you're looking at 150 tops, but some of them pieces go for millions. So if you're looking at it like that, and you are, let's say, an economist and you value things on stuff like that, then you're always going to have an argument. It's always going to be difficult to tell you that is worth that for whatever reason. It's valued really on just the trend and the popularity at the time. I mean, I'll use Will again as an example, just because I have seen it firsthand. Will sold his first piece properly, I'd say near on about 4 or 5 years ago. Sold it for about £50. And he was buzzing with that. He put a load of time and effort into it. He painted it, and someone on Instagram bought that off of him for £50. Amazing. We recently sold something of Will's start of this year, January, for around £28,000.
Not bad.
Now, that's unbelievable. And you think to yourself, how have you gone from £50 to £28,000 in that type of time? Now, in between, if you look at the people he's worked with, he's done collaborations with the likes of Universal Studios, Universal Music, Warner Brothers, and has had clients come on board approaching him again through Instagram and referrals from the likes of Premier League football players. We have an Arsenal player with a piece in his house hanging up at the moment. And then once these things happen and news releases get released and stuff like that, and more galleries become interested and sign up for pieces and get pieces, it pushes the popularity of the artist up a lot, which in turn increases the prices. I mean, artists are only able to paint, let's say, a piece every few days, a piece a week, a piece every couple of weeks. So you're already limiting yourself to what's in supply and circulation by them only being able to produce an original piece of work a few times a month, a couple of times a month. So in turn, again, that pushes the price up. And if they're at a popular stage in their career, then you're going to be looking at a substantial price increase. And how do we get these values? I mean, it is a very, very good question. Look, we test it out, to be fair. We gradually increase it every now and then, and we see how the market reacts to it. So, for example, if I brought a piece to the market now of Will's and I put it up for £1,000, it would be gone within minutes, because people know his value sits now at around the £5,000 to £12,000 mark. £5,000 for the smaller pieces, £12,000 for the larger pieces, and then a bit more for your neon pieces that you have seen. Yeah, you've seen them before, didn't you? Yeah. Okay. So people look at it like that, and people will look at previous sales and stuff like that. And that's when you get the actual investors and collectors come in, and they will analyze things like that, and they will look to see where he's at in the future. But you still, you get people rip it apart. Oh, that's not worth that. How can you buy that? This, that, and the other. And look, these people don't understand, and it's not their fault just because they're uneducated on this side of the market and then actually valuing and appraising pieces of art. Because I've seen pieces for multi-millions, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, what's going on here? What's actually going on here? And it's unreal, that the value behind it and stuff like that. But it just goes on really off the trends. Similar to how you look at watches and other alternative type of investments as a whole, watches, classic cars, whatever it may be. So at the moment, you can go and get a Ferrari F40 for, let's say, I don't know, 1.2 million. The reason that is going up is because of amount of supply and circulation now. As years go on, a car crashes, a car gets wrote off, this, that, or the other. So in turn, that's only going to push the price up. And that's what we see with these, the artists. They're similar to car brands and watch manufacturers in that way. So your Ferraris, your Lamborghinis, your Patek Philippe's, where there's a limit out there and the intrinsic value to start with is at a certain point. I mean, you can only see it going up.
Yeah.
The more things are sold, the more the brand is out there, and so on. So it works on a lot of factors. There is a lot of hard work that goes on to get these prices go up, but an investor or a collector knows full well that what they're paying at that time, they believe they are getting a fair and good value for. And we can't go to an economist or an accountant and ask them to break down the figures as to how that's that much, because it's not like a stock or a company. We can't do that. We haven't got cash flow. We haven't got financial stuff like that. So it's really just on what the price is at that time. Why is that artist so big at the moment? What have they got going on? Where do we see this artist? Stuff like that. And it is. There's so many factors that come into appraising the art. Honestly, it's crazy. And to be fair, I don't think I will ever understand it. Just because some people are willing to pay $1 million for a piece, some people would be willing to pay £100 for a piece. And it's all down to what the buyer feels, the sentiment of the buyer, and really where that artist is at that particular moment in time, I feel.
No, that's amazing. I'm learning a lot currently at the moment in terms of like investment and stuff like that, which, you know, drew me to a few companies. They basically there are investors, but what they do is they'll have like, let's say a Basquiat piece, but you can buy shares in them.
Yeah.
Which I've checked out. Have you seen these?
I know a few companies like that. Probably the biggest one I know is a company called Masterworks.
Yeah, that's one I was looking in at.
I think his name's Michael Palazzo or something. Spoken with them a few times as they were actually interested in we had a Picasso piece last year.
Okay.
They were looking at buying. And yeah, these platforms now are incredible. They allow the everyday investor to own a percentage of it. You see it in the share market. You can own a percentage of a company stock. So let's say a stock is worth $140. They can own a percentage of that $140 or so. You see it again with the F40 Ferrari. You can own a percentage of the car. And now the art market, and I think it's incredible because again, it's a way of diversifying your portfolio. You're not chucking absolutely everything in. The art market's well renowned for being a very wealthy market, and you can only be in if you're upper class and you're worth multi-millions. But it allows you to realize the tax benefits of the art market and also the capital growth benefits of the market. And I think the platforms are amazing.
Yeah, they're all sick. I've seen so many. I was speaking to a company called Otis in New York.
Okay.
They basically do art, but now they're doing old comic books. Now they're doing sneakers as well that you can't get. Like they had the Nike Air Mags, the Back to the Future ones, and it's like you can buy shares in them as well. And it's just like, obviously, you know, the sneaker market is always building up based on, you know, scarcity and everything like that. So that these are definitely good things, you know, for people who just want to get started and, you know, build something small and then gradually build into the big boy leagues and actually start selling art. So these are sick. So like, what are your ultimate goals through this? You know, you're a young guy, you're in the game now, do you know what I mean? And it's like, you've done phenomenal things. Like, what are the goals once all this crazy shit has gone past? Like, what are the goals? What are you going to be focused on in the next coming years, 10 years time?
I mean, look, I just want to continue growing and developing every single day. I'm learning every single day. I'm learning things that I'm learning the good ways and the bad ways. I'm learning by doing things that are going right, and then I'm learning by doing the things the wrong way, which I mean are very, very valuable in every walk of life. Where do I see it going? I mean, look, I would probably love my own personal gallery in the next 5 to 10 years. I say that because at the moment I'm involved in a good few galleries. So I feel where I'm involved so much, I have my percentages in these galleries, and I feel like they're my babies. but the only thing is they don't have my name above the door, which is the only difference to now to 5 to 10 years when I may go and take that leap. I feel for the moment I'm just focused on continuing raising the profiles of the artists I work with, continuing to help them out, to be there for them, to get them in places where doors are currently shut and they can't get in, and just continue growing my network and literally, just putting all my focus into just getting these artists well known and household names. That's what I would love. I would love every artist I work with to be featured in every single continent in the world, and in the big art shows and the big art galleries. And I'm seeing it happening, and it's only really, as I said, the past few months where all the graft that's gone in over the past couple of years into it is coming off, and I know it can be done now. I've seen it firsthand, and just want to continue pushing and adapting to market changes and to changes in the economy and everything, and just keep at it, and just keep on going and seeing where we can get with it, and how big we can get these artists, and doing more to help out, to give back, and just really just seeing where I can get from, and then show other people that it can be done. You don't have to be more grey in the hair to get involved, and see more and more people jump in at an earlier, younger stage and replicating and completely smashing out what I do.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely see, the game's getting younger. Even like using the example of the sneakerheads, even like going to like sneaker shows and you've seen these 12-year-olds with wads of cash swapping trainers. So it's just like
absolutely having it off. I mean, they've gone from selling Mars bars in the playground to picking up dead stock. So I'm looking forward to seeing the kid in an auction house saying, look, this is what we're buying. This is for my friends, you know what I mean? We're looking forward to those things. So, it's good that, we're building an industry that's going to have that, you know what I mean? It's like before, sneaker culture was frowned upon in terms of, you collect sneakers, that's a bit sneaky or anything like that. And then they built an industry working with said designers, said platforms. And then you've got the likes of Jeff Staples Daniel Arsham is doing some stuff, with Nike and Dior, like all these amazing things. So it's very phenomenal to see. What advice do you have for like future investors in terms of getting involved in the game? I'd probably say that the one main thing I tell absolutely everyone is that if you're going to get involved in it, just make sure you like the piece and you admire the piece, because I mean, look, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't have a crystal ball to tell you what's going to be worth X amount in however many years. But you need to know full well that if you're putting your money into it, first you need to put money into it that you feel you'd be able to do without. You feel you can afford to lose. And you need to like. At the end of the day, if you've got a piece and you want to sell it in 2 years, you hate it. Mm-hmm. Come 2 years and you can't sell it and you're still holding on to that 10 years down the line, you hate it, you're just going to look at that and detest it every single day. However, on the flip side, if you love that piece, doesn't make you any money, but you haven't chucked absolutely everything at it, you know full well you can sit there and admire it and know full well that, you've invested into a piece. It hasn't made you money, but you've invested into your happiness, really. You've invested into a story, into someone else, because at the end of the day, you're helping the artist as well by buying their pieces. So whatever you're buying, just make sure you like, because I've got pieces at home that I bought before. I felt like they were going to be the next big thing, and they're practically worth, they're worth maybe the same. I paid for it a little less, and I don't like them. I just want to get rid of them. They're in their tube still, and that's something I learned the hard way. So if I could tell anyone, just don't do that. Like the piece you're buying, and definitely have a look at these platforms where you can buy percentages of pieces.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's big. And your advice to artists, because you're probably going to be scrolling through more artists this week, you know, and you know, checking who's who and who's on the come up. Like, what would be your advice to them as artists in terms of pursuing a career in the art game?
Just keep grinding, like keep at it. I've spoken with a lot of artists that have been in the game a long time and are becoming very disheartened. The passion's gone, and they've only lost their passion because they're relying on it to be their income source. And if they completely took that emotion out of it, they would still love doing it, whether it made them money or not. So I just say keep at it, keep the passion, and look, if you're only in it for the money, then you need to rethink your values, and you need to either fall in love with your art again and getting into it, or you need to take the pressure off yourself, because a lot of these artists, they put so much pressure on themselves, and you can tell, and it affects them a lot. If you're just relaxed about it, you enjoy your craft, you enjoy creating, then you're only going to go, you're going to go so far. And I can see it. I see it all the time. The guys that love their craft, they have so much passion behind their art. They do the best, because they're artists. I mean, they're incredible people. Some of them are very normal. Some of them are, I'd say, so far gone, it's amazing. But they're, you can tell the guys that some of them are walking around wearing suits that they've painted on themselves. And these guys absolutely smash it, because they've just got so much passion, and these people are buying because they buy into the art, but they buy into the artists as well. And you've got a passion, it makes it a lot easier for people to buy into, for definite.
That's solid, man. No, definitely. Like, I highly appreciate this conversation, because it's like, it's good to know that as much as, you know, I can talk to artists and, you know, get their stories and everything, I do definitely want to know more from the agency side, the gallery side, and, you know, what's that about, you know, how people can get involved and everything like that. So it's definitely, you know, great to have this conversation. Where can everyone find you, you know, possibly get in contact and everything like that?
I'm to be fair, I'm mainly on Instagram. I've always been fairly, not low key, but just out of the limelight, in the background doing things. But moving forward, I'm sort of more putting a face to things and getting things out there for my benefit, and of course the company's benefit. So yeah, you'll find me on Instagram under a personal account, under my company account. Also your likes of LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. So yeah, all of the above, really.
Yeah. So definitely check them out. Do you want to give them those?
Yeah, go on. So it would be at Luke De Stefano for the Instagrams and the Twitter, and at the Stefano Holdings, which is the company.
Yeah, everybody get in contact. He's a solid man. You know, I vouch for him. So yeah, it's all positive. But bro, appreciate it. You know what I mean? You know, taking time. You know, I know you've run off to is that your office space as well that I can see?
Yeah, I'm in my office at the moment. I've got another company on the side, which is actually an essential company at the moment. So luckily able to be busy with that and
good.
That helping others out. But yeah, just in the office, get clearing my headspace a bit.
Amazing. All right, bro. No, solid. I appreciate it highly, man.
Appreciate that a lot. Thank you for helping me out. Really, this is helping me out, and I hope to see you very, very soon.
Oh, you definitely will. Trust me, I'll be in contact. All right, brother. All right, take care, man.
Thank you very much, bro.
All right, take care. All right, best.